The barrier between myself and others. So in the past, I thought that there was, I don't know what the word is, when you can't get past something, like impregnable, like a word, like a barrier that I can't pass. Absolutely impassable, like a gigantic chasm between myself and everyone else and other people. Completely the opposite of what seems to be true, which is that we're all made of not only the same substance, not only are we all human, but we're even the same substance as inanimate objects. So this could not be further from the truth. And actually, I want to address this issue. I don't want to talk about this as this is what is right now, and I just don't know what to do about it. I know what to do about it now. I just need to bring that into fruition and reality. So I understand that in the past I thought there was this chasm, and it pops up sometimes when I'm talking to other people. I feel that I do not process things the same way that other people do. And this is probably, I hate to use this caveat, but it's probably my ego saying, you're better. I do not think of myself as better. I thought of myself as separate and cut off and even shocked sometimes, just in the ways that I process things differently than other people. But I think it is my ego sometimes saying that I'm better, or at least it's a form of protection. Protection out of a place of fear. Yeah, so I thought that I just didn't process things the same way, as far as thoughts and actions and what I say. And when you're judging, like I just took the Myers-Briggs test. I took it a couple of years ago, and then I just took it again recently. And when you actually compare it to other people, I'm the INFJ type, which is the architect. It's supposedly the rarest type of personality out there out of the 16 personality types. But so what? I mean, that's who I am. That's my reality. What will you do about this? What will I do about this? Can you just go around saying, I'm cut off from others? No. So actually, I can speak a little bit to each one of these if I can remember what the letters stand for. So I stands for introversion, which, let's be clear, an introvert is not someone with a lack of self-confidence, which, as is the popular opinion. And I thought this up until recently, before I learned a few things about introversion. An introvert is someone who takes time to recharge after being around people, because being around people drains their energy. And I understand myself as an introvert, but I also put that hand in hand with a lack of self-confidence. And a lot of introverts, yeah, they can have trouble, maybe a little bit more with self-confidence, but whatever. That's up to them. That's their responsibility, and it's my responsibility. So I'm an introvert, and I want to be around some people sometimes. I don't know. I feel like I have to be a balance, but I have a tendency toward introversion. But I have to learn to be okay with that. I am learning to be okay with myself. I mean, this is crucial, because this is the generation of all your thoughts and actions. The point of generation is to be okay with yourself when you are by yourself. And since I've learned that I need time for that to regenerate it, it's actually called regeneration, right? So I think I have to be okay with myself in that situation. When I am by myself, I don't want to be second, and I second guess myself. It's called second guessing, but at least third guessing myself, fourth guessing myself. I run everything through my mind a few times, and I really just need to to move on. And I'm learning about that. I've noticed a change in the past few years, and that's thanks to my wife's influence. I think because I've seen what it's like for someone to be confident and to move on past thoughts quickly. Do not dwell on them. But she's on the extroverted side. And, even though opposites attract, that can cause some issues because there's such a lack of understanding between us sometimes that it's damaging. So, but one of the things, and this is something I thought that I would benefit from and she would benefit from her side, was because of our differences, we would learn from each other. And I know that I've learned to at least see what it's like personally to be able, from a person who does not dwell on their thoughts and is able to just say something and move on. I just need to be okay right now when no one's around to hear my thoughts, when I am only accountable to myself. I need to say I'm okay with myself. I need to say that I am confident, and I am not even really confident. I'm fine. And this is the way I am. This is a personality thing, I know. Well, nature versus nurture, but as far as I know, this is who I am. This is my personality, and I'm fine with that. So that's introversion. So N stands for, what was it? Was it neuroticism? No, I hope not. Oh no, it's intuitive. Yeah, neuroticism is the other personality test. Yeah. So intuition, gosh, and this goes a little bit hand in hand with being an introvert, but yeah, intuition is so powerful for me. And you know what? I'm glad that I took this test and that I understand that this is the way I am, because I have to balance. I think that I use logic sometimes. I don't know how that stacks up against other people who use logic. But I like to think of myself as a logical person who thinks things through before I make a decision. But intuition, I just can't tell you how powerful this is. This is like knowing without having. It's really, yeah, it's effortless. It's without having to put forth any effort. You just know. And it's not always accurate. First impressions are not always correct, but for someone who does labor over using logic and producing what is right, it is such a relief to have a way to understand others. Understand even your surroundings, not even other living beings, but your surroundings by way of intuition. And this can apply to high-level processes like, should I make this career choice? Of course, that's with something that important. You would want to gather as much information as you can from different sources. So you can use logic there, fine, but you can use your intuition as well. Sometimes the final decision is made based on that first intuitive thought. And it seems like it's such a powerful force. And the more I learn about myself, I understand that, well, at the end of the day, when you go back and think about it, more often than not, I'll say I was right. My first reaction was right. I may have got this minor point wrong, and I can correct that. And it's important to go back. And when you're wrong, even about a minor thing, to sure, fine, correct the record. But it's more important to me to have intuition, which is that way to know. It's really just a way to know who you are, what you are, and sometimes intuition, it actually takes practice. Even though it's effortless, it takes practice to listen, and not to listen to everything that's going on around you, which is sometimes literally the other sounds around you, but really other people's thoughts. whether or not they run counter to yours. You need to understand that even if others are agreeing with you, you need the ability to listen to yourself. You need the ability to be quiet enough to understand, and intuition can be a very quiet voice. I think mine by default, even though I feel it sometimes pretty obviously, but at other times it takes time to listen and say, yeah, this is what I thought at that time at the beginning. But you just may not even realize it till later. But yeah, so that's intuition. Intuition is a powerful force. Okay, INFJ. F is for feeling. So the feeling comes a little bit later than intuition. Feeling is more of a reaction, whereas intuition is a force that's generated automatically. It is reaction, but it happens almost instantaneously. It's already part of the situation. Feeling, which is, I think it's the opposite of thinking on that test. Feeling is pretty similar, though. It's in the same category as intuitive, I think, because it just happens later. So you have a situation and you still go with, it's not your gut feeling, that's intuition, but you go with what you feel. Say, I feel about this, and this is actually one that I would say I'm not as comfortable with the feeling that as I am about the intuition or intuitiveness, or introversion and intuitiveness, because feeling means that you really don't use your thoughts. I could have been INTJ, maybe, and I could have maybe balanced out that the feelings and the thoughts. The first feeling, the intuition is the thought, but no, I am INFJ, so I really go with my feelings, even though I feel like I'm a logical person. That is something that is learned. So all three of those letters, I, N, and F, those two letters all tell me I need to listen to myself, every single one of them. I have to listen to myself. Like, this is for me and for my personality type, this is what is right. I can take in information from others, but this is done at the risk of overpowering my own thoughts, which are paramount. They're really important. They're crucial to me making the decisions that will help me to live most harmoniously. So the last one, J, judgmental. So I like to, and I forget what this is the opposite of. P is the opposite. I don't remember what it stands for. Judgmental means that I feel like I have to make a statement about everything. Like, I know this about this thing. That's what judging is. Judging is basically coming to a decision about something. It's maybe another word in the realm of personality. It's another word for decisiveness, which I don't feel like I'm decisive, but hey, what are you going to do? At the end of the day, though, no matter how long it takes, decisive is about how quickly something happens. Judgment can take time, but judgment means that you have come to a decision. You have judged something as having a certain quality. And this is perhaps the most deceiving, maybe even more than feeling, because, yeah, okay, so P is opposite of perceiving. So I'm kind of surprised I'm not perceiving, but at the same time, I do like, maybe this is where the logic comes in, because I like to, well, I don't like to, but this is the way I think or feel. I like to say this is here and put a label on everything and say that I know this now. It's also, you know what, when I listen to my intuition about this, it's also from a place of fear, because I'm afraid not to know. I'm afraid of the unknown. And I have to be okay with the unknown. I have to be okay with not putting a label on everything, but since I am INFJ, I need to be comfortable with the fact that sometimes I'm judging and sometimes I can be wrong about things, but the way I process information is to, no matter how long it takes, to come to a decision about something and not leave it hanging in the air. Even if it's a temporary solution, I can't just leave something sitting there. How about that? So that's that personality test and all that. The end.